let's do the survey first. Would you like to do the survey first?
Yeah, let's hear the results.
Okay. All right, we did a survey, our first ever in-season survey. I think moving forward, this is how we'll do it. We'll do a preseason, in-season, and then we'll do an end of season. Last year we only did, I think, end of season, and we're just kind of getting a pulse check on your thoughts, feelings. Now I will say, slight bias to the survey, given that it was conducted the week after the USC win, and I think big game, big emotion. But I think the results are pretty fair. I think they're pretty fair. So we kind of asked about three categories. We asked about the team, the stadium, and then the media. We will save the media for last. We will start with the team, though. So far, the first question was, so far in 2024, Penn State has, and your options were exceeded, met, or underachieved expectations. 76% said that Penn State has met their expectations. 20% has said Penn State has exceeded their expectations. And 4% has said Penn State has underachieved. So I don't know about those 4%, but I think I'm probably in the met expectations category at this point. Leaning.
Yeah, because they haven't played the games that matter yet, right? I mean, realistically, to be cynical, and you had them 10-2.
I had them 10-2, and you had them
right.
11-1.
Right. So I said met expectations because
okay.
we haven't played the game that I think they're going to lose yet, right? So they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
See, okay, that's fair. All right, next question was, and this was a kind of a follow-up from our end of season survey last year, and I think the answer was like a 3 on this on average. The next question was, how confident are you that Penn State will make the college football playoff this year? And the top answer was a 4, because we asked you to rank it 1 to 5, or pick 1 to 5, 5 being very confident. 4 was the top answer. 48% of people said they're at a 4. 5 was the second answer with 28%, and then 3 was the third answer at 21%. 4 was the average rating, which felt high. But it's like, again,
well, at this point
it's an earned high. Like, I'm
right.
pleasantly surprised-ish at how high it was.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, they got to almost play themselves out of it. I mean, I know it's not that simple, but
no, but like. And we talked about it there with Matt. We've talked about it time and time again on this podcast. They take care of business when they're supposed to, and if they take care of business when they're supposed to, there's a very real chance that Steve's prediction of 11-1 is correct. Like that's what's kind of.
You still sound
I'm just saying.
Good thing you're saying
I have data, and I have body of proof, and it's all. Anyways, here's what you all said about the team. These are just some of the comments. I appreciate the team that has shown that they can win in different ways. Sometimes a strong defense, others a run game, and most recently 400 yards of passing. Perfection isn't a realistic expectation ever. The kids keep growing, performing, and developing in a way that makes us all proud. I hate the whole second half team mantra, play the full game and I'll never complain. I think that's a very fair assessment of how the season's gone this year. And then I'd love to see the defense start the game quick instead of waiting till half. I think those are kind of like, if you were going to find your one complaint about Penn State football, it's a slower start this year. And I think they haven't been perfect, but they've been pretty darn good. So I think that's about where I'm at.
They've been fun to watch, and again, adding nothing, no losses. So that's about all you can ask for. Okay. Well, it is all you can ask for.
All right, let's move on to the stadium. You guys had a lot of feelings about this one, almost too many feelings. The first question was, and we asked you, it was kind of a pick one of three. Penn State's Beaver Stadium improvements have either improved, kept game day about the same, or made game days worse. 68% of people said the improvements have not made a major difference on their Beaver Stadium game day. I think that's fair. And then 27% said that they've made game days better, and 4% that said they've made game days worse. So I think there's at least a positive sentiment there. But I think I think they haven't really added that much yet. So I'm still at 68%. I'm with that 68%. I think it would be how I would answer that one.
Yeah, it's the pre-construction. We're doing some pretty stuff, making it neat, changing some branding, and nobody's lost a seat yet or had a seat changed yet. When that happens, the numbers in response might be a little different.
Nobody's angry. I asked this next question because I feel like this has improved, and I wanted to see if this was just a me thing, what the sense was. In general, as it relates to scanning your ticket and entry into Beaver Stadium, getting into the stadium is either faster, about the same, or slower. 62% said it's about the same this year. 31% said it was faster, which I think the fact that 31% of the people that took our survey, which, by the way, I think our largest survey ever in terms of respondents, either number one or number two off the top of my head, I think that's actually a win. Like, I think if 31% of people are saying that, particularly amongst this fan base, then I think the entry has gotten faster in a lot of ways.
That's probably true.
And then 9%, I think this was our most realistic answer, I guess would be the best way to say it. 9% got in, say it was slower. I have heard some of the like other gates, like the more traditional gates are a little bit slower, just depending on like what time you go in, especially I've heard isn't great. So I think that was interesting.
Yeah, my only one entry so far this season was great, like because it was early, right? So
And what gate did you go in? B?
B, the one we always go. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, we've gone through Gate F every single game so far this year, and I think it's been pretty quickly. I've heard Gate, what would be D down at the corner isn't terrible. I've heard C and B are still kind of the jam, so I'm wondering if they're like almost testing out our side of the stadium's entry for the other side.
Maybe when F's just so new, like nobody went in F last year. I mean, even though it was there, like they've made it.
Yeah,
you can come in. So, and it feels like there's fewer people coming. I mean, there's probably not, but everybody kind of converges on B and D. It feels like
right. The corners, yeah, the two corners there. Okay, here is the feedback. I tried to go through. I appreciated everybody's answers here because there was multiples of each one of these complaints. I think that's what is very impressive. So this person says, can get Wi-Fi under the concourse, so that's an improved, but there's still a major drawback while you're in your seat. Gate F and the food is much better. Don't tell anyone about this hidden gem. First off, person, we are good fans. We are good fellow fans. We're gonna preach the gospel of Gate F and how quickly it is to get in.
See, they want you to say Gate F sucks, stay away.
Yeah, well, I'm not. I think I'm going to be a nice person. I'm going to take the high ground, Steve. Okay.
So when you don't have any elbow room, the next survey, you'll know, blame Darian.
Yeah, sorry. A couple other people shouted out like the actual area, which I think if you go back to look at like my review of the game day experience, that area, people talked about that and how they enjoyed that. Which we haven't hung out there, but it's cool. Like it's neat to see, and like it's kind of nice when you're standing in line. They've got that big screen there that you can watch whatever's on. So I have appreciated that. Next one is, for the love of God, they need to fix the cell phone reception. My phone is basically a brick during games now. Previously, I could at least use it occasionally. Now I struggle to get cell service even in the tailgate fields. I agree with this person. And I think, again, the Wi-Fi complaint came up. That was the number one complaint of everybody. This is the biggest issue I think fans are sick and tired of dealing with, for lack of a better term.
We'll come back to this. Like, what's your experience in other stadiums?
They're all like even Bloomington and West Lafayette are better.
Okay, that's all I'm asking.
I feel like the problem is the resourcing isn't there. I don't know. It's just like it seems all very fixable, but I don't know enough about the tech. We should get an expert on the podcast all about this. Isn't Dion Butler? We should have asked Dion Butler. He works.
Sure, we should have asked. Yeah.
He works in that line.
They're probably using that money for the tech. They could be used to pay the players. Though. So what do you want? You want players in the field, or you want Wi-Fi?
They're iPads. They cost like $10 these days. So go on Amazon. All right. This next group is all about concessions. Concession lines are long and not well organized. I've heard that, seen that. They're pretty rough. I just don't think there's a good system, and I think that hopefully gets fixed when the concourse gets bigger. The next two are interesting to me because I kind of agree with these, and I think I even sent one of these to you in jest, And now I'm like, I kind of agree with this person the more I think about it. So the first person just said less beer. And then the next person said too much beer sales. The constant movement in the stands ruins the experience for everyone. Now, I haven't been annoyed by the constant movement in the stands, but I will say, like, the beer sales, there's the beer sales. I think you can alleviate some of the problems that you have with the long lines of like, sometimes I just need a drink. I don't need a beer. Like, I want a soda, but I got to wait in the line, the same chicken line as the chicken baskets, which I'm going to get a chicken basket anyway. But they're not solving the problems the way they could. Like, I think just a little bit of creative solving of the problems, maybe less beer. Like, I feel like there's way too many beer kiosks, or maybe way too much beer at the kiosks and not enough of other stuff at those little grab and go kiosks that could speed up and make the improvement. So I do agree with those people.
And it's year one of that stuff. Like, for as cynical as I can be, you got to go through year one and test that stuff out, and hopefully stuff changes or tweaks a little bit. But realistically, a year where you're going to have data that conveys from one season to the next now isn't going to happen for several seasons, because this year's information doesn't mean anything for next year when the stadium's going to be rejiggered, right?
Right.
And then if there's two seasons, I guess, of construction, that season doesn't lead to the next season. That next season doesn't lead to the full season. So I think you're into, just plugging holes and solving problems as you can and coming up with the best possible plan year to year and not being able to learn on your experiences the next couple of seasons. And I think there's probably going to have to be some patience here for people. And I think they need to be honest about that when the time comes. Hey, we're kind of like, my favorite thing from like Mr. Mom the movie is the Schooner Tuna speech at the end. Like, we're all in this together. Well, like, I think they're going to have to appeal to that a little bit as they go through this, and hope that people,
And I think they have. I just think, like I said, I think there's a lot of beer sales. I don't know. There's a lot of beer sales, and it's not. I'm not bothered by them per se. Like, it's not a ethical bother. It's just sometimes I just want a soda. Like. I guess here's what I think about. Like, if it was like you and a 12-year-old, like your 12-year-old kid, and you wanted a beer and they wanted a chicken basket and a soda, now you got to wait in two lines as opposed to one line, and which I guess you can get some beer at the other ones, but yeah. So, I don't know with this next group whether or not they're being serious or real, or we are leading, we have been charging a movement. And if it is that case, I am so thankful. I am so proud of us.
Wait, so you went viral 10 minutes ago, we were having it, and now we're leading the movement. I can't wait to hear this.
We are taking people to the promised land, Steve. and this is our direction we're going.
I'm probably going to have to pray after this segment.
Yes,
now, go ahead. What is it?
This first person says, "Are you ready for the fourth quarter is annoying? Last home game, there was so much production between the third and fourth quarters that it felt like a second halftime." Next one. "The mic guy needs to stop asking if we are ready for the fourth quarter. Play Mo Bamba or something. Anything but that in the fourth quarter flag." If they really want to get the stadium bumping, make a flag with Franklin's record against Ohio State and Michigan. That should do the trick. God bless that person. That's what I have to say to that person.
They're either trolling us or they're serious. Oh, yeah.
But this is the thing. Like, this is two of just a smattering of several people fired about this fourth quarter thing. I think it's a thing. I think we're onto something. And I just like to say we have been beating this drum, or at least I've been beating this drum for a solid year and a half now. What?
And I agree.
Go ahead.
I agree, because I think you're all going to be disappointed, because I think there's going to be more of that coming forward. Perhaps as soon as the next home game.
No. What are we going to have? Are you ready for the first quarter? Are you ready for the second quarter?
I just think the time between the third and the fourth is going to get a little, and I may want more attention, but it might be more produced. And I told you I had some things I was going to tell you off the air. I can hint at that one, that I think it's going to be, are you ready for the fourth quarter is not going away and may indeed be embraced more going forward.
They just don't read us. That's clear that whoever the decision makers don't read us, and they should know that we are coming for them. We will hunt them down. We will find them.
Stop it.
I was thinking about some new stuff, and I think we should maybe make fourth quarter flags. Please stop asking me if I'm ready for the fourth quarter. It's at least it's going up my tailgate. I think I'm gonna make one. It's gonna go up my tailgate. Okay. Thank you to everybody who gave us feedback there. Last one was the media. We just asked one question, well, two questions, one actual question, and then one if you wanted to answer question. We asked which outlets' coverage have you enjoyed the most so far in the 2024 season? And by a razor-thin margin of one, our preseason champions also took our in-season championship, which is the gang at Blue White Illustrated.
Okay. What were the top 5?
I only pulled the top 3. So
okay.
In second place, very close in the second place, was Onward State. And then Lions 247 was 3.
Okay.
I read I saw, first off, there were a ton, like, it wasn't like there was a lot of different answers. Like, people had a lot, like, it wasn't like all of the votes just went to like 3 or 5. Like, there were probably, I think there were like 25 options, and I want to say all 25 of them were probably selected at least once. I think the other thing that stood out to me is people were shouting out Landon Tangwall's podcast and the State Media Cruise podcast, the Brandon Bell and Christian Hackenberg one, the Pocket. So I thought that was interesting. So I think people are enjoying those, paying attention to those, consuming those. That's become a beneficial add to the media cycle, if you will, for Penn State fans. There was a little bit of feedback. It's nice when some of the outlets does something a little different than what they're all fed. I agree with that person wholeheartedly. And then I thought this one was interesting. Media coverage has generally been more favorable than fans' social media comments, and I think that's 100% true.
Oh, that's no doubt about it. Yeah.
So I thought
because media,
and I think I don't know. I think for as harpy as people are about Penn State's beat, I think they're also like, they're not as cynical as Penn State. Fans are more cynical as Penn State than Penn State's beat, I think is the best way to say that. So, okay. That's the survey.
Nice.